Hey everybody, I'm Amy. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Amy V Stories. Now this is a place where I will talk about my stories, some of the lessons within my stories, some of the stories behind my stories, and also some of the stories and books that have really helped me understand my stories, understand myself, so that I could use these stories to heal myself. Now, I've been writing books since I was 8 years old. I got my first journal back in 1981. It was a place for all of my poems from mom and dad. My very first story that I wrote, it was a good one. It was called The Day Before Halloween. Now, this is a story dedicated to my mother for her birthday, which is the day before Halloween. This was back in the day of laminators, Crayola crayons, and I even had a typewriter, which I thought was the coolest thing that the world had ever invented. And it starts like this. 'Twas the day before Halloween, and everyone was prepared for a day of trick-or-treating, saying boo and getting scared. And the story goes on to talk about my mother and how she grew to become such a wonderful person and the greatest mother ever. So this was my very first published printed story. As the years went on, I got a little bit more advanced. I discovered that the teacher supply store had these blank books, and I could take these blank books and I could fill them with whatever I wanted. I would buy these books 20 at a time, and I would make books for everybody in my family. Now this one is called The Great Chicken Pox Experience, and it was my experience of having the chicken pox. And here I am bathing in my tub with my rubber ducky and shampoo. I scrubbed my body and saw a lump, then two. And it goes on to talk about the wonderful experience of chicken pox and all of the fun things that I did while I had the chicken pox. So this was a great story. In my 20s, my books became really high tech. By now, I had my first computer. And with my first computer, I was able to create photographs on my computer and print them out. And I was really able to have a pretty high tech book. Now, this is one that I wrote about my daughter, Samantha. It's called A Wintry Day to Play, and it was about all the fun things that we did in the winter when the sleigh took us for a ride. Now, I had to take her and I had to pose her on the sleigh going to all these different places, and she was a really good sport about it. She always loved my stories too. Once I discovered Canva, I really started to have fun with my stories, because now I could take my stories and I could create illustrations, which really gave a good visual of what I wanted my stories to look like. So Canva, along with these books that I now found on Amazon, were the way that I created stories in my 50s. So a few years had passed. Now, I've always wanted my real story, like a real story. And that dream finally came true last year with my first story, The Sea's Slowest Snail. Now, this book has been out a year. I've had the opportunity to share it in several places, and it's been a joy to share my story. And my second story is about to come out very soon. That's a story called Penelope Prime, Inventor of Rhyme. So I look forward to sharing more about my stories with you. It's been a lifelong dream. It's something I've always wanted to do. And every story has a common theme, though they're a little bit different. There is this common theme of disconnection and reconnection. And that's a theme that really holds true in my life when I look at my story. When I was young, I was connected and I loved this. Then I became disconnected for a long time. And today I truly feel like I'm back home again with my stories. And the neatest thing that I've experienced while sharing my stories with others is how many people out there want to have their own story. All of the ideas that people have told me from this tree in front of their yard and their story idea with the tree, or this bird that flew into a window. So many friends have shared with me their ideas, their stories, and what it means to them deep down inside. And if there's anything I can share to you, it's that if you do have a story inside of you and you'd like to see it come to life, it is possible. It's completely possible, and it might be the greatest gift you can ever give yourself. So I look forward to sharing my stories. Thanks for following along. I'm Amy.